Hey guys, welcome back. We are live here at the Biden Cancer Summit, and we are fortunate enough to be able to speak with the CEO of the Still Strong Foundation and former NFL player Devin Still. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Thank you for joining us. So quickly, I want you to just introduce yourself to our viewers. Tell them about your background and why you're here.
Right. I've been playing in the NFL for 6 years, most recently with the Texans. But when I was with the Cincinnati Bengals, my 4-year-old daughter Leah was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma. It's one of the toughest times of my life and our family lives when we found out that she only had a 50% chance of beating this disease. I decided to use my platform as a professional athlete to raise awareness for the families who were in the hospital battling cancer, the families who didn't have the platform to have a voice, so that the country and the world can see what it's like for a family to battle childhood cancer. And after about a year and a half of treatment, my daughter ended up going into remission. She's 3 years in remission right now. We're fighting to get to that 5-year mark so that she can be cancer free.
Awesome. So tell us what it was like when that initial when you found out that Leah had cancer.
Yeah, like my world got flipped upside down. It was just like all the air got knocked out of my body, and I didn't know what to do because when the doctors first said that she had cancer, all I could think about was death. Right? I tied that to cancer. So it was like about a week or two of just trying to figure out how we was going to handle this. I was around 23 years old. I wasn't ready to take on a battle of this magnitude, but we had to get ourselves ready for this fight. We had to do everything possible to help save my daughter's life.
What were some things that you did to mentally prepare and physically prepare? Because I know a lot of people, when they hear that their loved one has cancer, when they hear they have cancer, they have the same thoughts. And it's really important that you get out of that mindset to get into the fight. So what were some of the things that you guys did to prepare?
Well, like you said, it's just learning how to get into the fight. A lot of people think that, triumph is supposed to follow tragedy right away. Sometimes you have to sit back and think about what you just went through, which is what I did. I went through that period for about 1 or 2 weeks, and I tell everybody it's like watching a boxing match, right? If you ever saw a boxer get knocked out and they get up too fast, they end up falling back down because they're too dizzy. And sometimes you just have to take a deep breath and realize what kind of fight you're in. And when you're ready, get back up and do everything you can to win.
So I know it was a year and a half. How would you describe that process? Or what are some of the experiences that you went through during that process?
It's basically just an emotional roller coaster. What made my situation so hard is that I had to make a decision to leave my daughter in Philadelphia to get treated, to go back out to Cincinnati so that I had the insurance to pay for her treatment. And making that decision was one of the toughest decisions I ever had in my life, because I wanted to be there in Philadelphia by my daughter's bedside as much as possible to let her know she wasn't in this fight alone. So not being able to hug her when I know she needed to be hugged, not being able to kiss her every day and tell her it was going to be okay, was one of the toughest things that I went through. But we made the best of our situation, right? I flew back as much as I could after every game to Philadelphia and spent 3 days with her before I had to fly back out to Cincinnati. So instead of complaining about the situation that we're in, we just tried to make the best out of it.
Yeah. I've seen your daughter, and she's super energetic just a strong, I wouldn't say woman, but I know she's a child.
Right.
But so what were some of the things that you did while she was in treatment to keep her strong? Because it's easy to want to, especially when it's your child, like scoop them up and kind of protect them. But how did you balance that?
I just taught her that we needed to have fun, right? We can't wait until she's cancer free to have fun. We can't give all of our control to this disease, and a lot of times, we tie our emotions to certain circumstances. And at first, when Leah was diagnosed, it was tough for me to understand that. I remember a point in time where she was about 3 weeks into her cancer diagnosis. We had spent all those weeks in the hospital, and I never left the hospital because I wanted to be there with her. And I decided to go home one day to change. And when I went home, my wife her roommate had a bunch of friends over her house, and somebody told a joke there, and everybody started laughing. And I started laughing as well, but immediately I made myself stop. And I kept questioning myself, how could I be enjoying myself? How could I be laughing when my daughter's in the hospital fighting for herself, fighting for her life?
Right.
And I realized in that moment that if I kept that mindset, that my daughter didn't have a chance of winning this disease. Because I've been playing football since I was 13, and one thing that the coaches always taught us is if you're not having fun, then you already lost the game. So one of the things I made sure we did was have fun, no matter where we were at. We were out at the stores, or we were in the hospital. We just really danced our way to victory.
I love that. What are some tips that you could give to people who are fighting cancer now, or family members of people fighting cancer?
Allow yourself to be vulnerable. You know, a lot of times we try to be so strong because that's what we're taught to do. Really, like, not show emotion and just find your way through this. But with this type of battle, you can't. You need as much help as you can get. It's going to take a team to really overcome this disease, and it's important for people to understand it's okay to have weak moments, right? Moments where you want to give up, moments where you don't feel like getting out of bed, moments when you just don't feel like doing anything. But you can't allow those moments to turn into a mindset. You have to find something deeper inside you, a reason why you're going to keep fighting, so that you can get up when you face those moments.
So when did you decide you wanted to start the Still Strong Foundation?
Well, I had an idea of starting the foundation when I had to leave my daughter's bedside. You know, like I said before, it's one of the worst feelings that I ever had, and I didn't want other families to have to make the decision that I made to leave my daughter's bedside. But it was a moment in particular when we were at CHOP, and she was getting treatment, and I took her down to the playroom so that she can color. And while we were there was an 8-year-old girl coloring at a table, and next to her she had an IV pole with chemo dripping down the tubes into a Broviac catheter that hung from her chest cavity. And so we decided to go sit with her because we didn't want her to be alone. Immediately she started opening up to us, letting us know that she oftentimes spent time in the hospital by herself because she came from a single parent household and her mom had to leave to go to work. And when I saw that, you know, I reached out to the mom and I offered to pay for her bill so that she can spend time in the hospital. But I knew if I wanted to really make an impact, I had to start a foundation where we can help more than just that family.
That's so awesome. So what are you currently doing with Still Strong Foundation? What's the mission, and how does it work?
Well, right now what we're doing is we serve 4 different hospitals. We serve Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, we serve St. Christopher's Hospital, which is also in Philadelphia, AI DuPont Hospital in Delaware, and now Texas Children in Houston. And what we do is we give out financial grants to families who are battling cancer, and we help them pay their household bills, such as mortgages and utilities, because we want to make sure we keep families in the hospital fighting together.
Okay. And how can people get involved with Still Strong Foundation?
Right. Well, we need a lot of people to get involved because we want to make the impact that we want. We need as much help as we can. So people can visit stillstrongfoundation.org. There's links to sign up and volunteer if you don't have the funds to make a donation monetarily. But if we come together as a team, we have people who are willing to run our events for us. We have people who are willing to donate money. I think that we can really do a great job in tackling cancer.
So tell us about, because I know Leah's in remission now, so tell us about how life after the diagnosis is. How are you guys doing now?
You know, it's crazy because you would think that everything goes back to normal
Right.
when, you know, you go into remission, but it doesn't. You know, cancer leaves an impact on people's family long after the diagnosis, from the financial, emotional, physical, mental part of the fight. So right now we're just trying to get used to, you know, having a normal life, right? With her not having to go to the hospital as much, her now getting back into school, making friends and stuff. That's really important for her. But because of the foundation, we put ourselves in that environment a lot. And you know, a lot of times I struggle when we go to the hospital with just having flashbacks of what my daughter had to go through when we were in the hospital. You know, I suffer a lot from survivor's remorse because we meet so many families whose children are passing away. And it's like, when I'm around them and when Leah's around them, I don't really know how it makes that family feel. And I could understand, you know, if they felt some type of way of, you know, why did his kid get to live and mine didn't? So it's tough making that balance, but I try to fight through what I'm suffering with so that other families who are going through that battle don't have to suffer.
What are some things that you do to reverse that feeling?
Just remember what I'm doing it for. You know, when I look at my daughter Leah and I'm able to still hug her and I'm able to still hear her call me dad, I feel like it drives me and it motivates me to to drive past those things that are hindering me mentally, so that every family who gets that cancer diagnosis has a chance to hear that their child is in remission, like Leah.
If Leah was here right now, what do you think she would want everybody watching to know?
Wow, I mean, she has a lot of personality. I think that she would want y'all to know that she's a princess. First of all, that she's enjoying third grade and is making a lot of friends. But most of all, I think that she would want people to understand that when you look at her story, she hopes that you can see yourself in her. If you're a little kid out there that's battling cancer, she wants you to see the possibilities if you stay strong and you keep fighting. For parents to understand that it's important for us to show our kids as much support as we can. A lot of times we feel like it's their fight, right? We can't do nothing to help them, but just being there and hugging them and kissing them and letting them know that they're not alone, it goes a long way for these kids. And the biggest thing is just the support. Not only our foundation, but foundations out there, period, that are trying to help push forward this fight against childhood cancer, because these kids deserve a chance to grow up, and really experience life. And right now, that's not happening because a lot of kids are dying because of this disease.
Okay, so where can we find the Still Strong Foundation? How can we get in contact?
You can find us on stillstrongfoundation.org. You can follow us on Twitter, Still Strong Foundation, Instagram, Still Strong Foundation, and our Facebook, Still Strong Foundation.
Perfect. Well, Devin, thank you for joining us. Thank you again. Yes, and we will leave the websites in the comment section for you guys to check out. Please, please, please support this foundation. If you guys have any questions, as always, leave them in the comment section and we'll get to them. Make sure you subscribe to our Facebook and Instagram, and we'll see you later. Bye.